In this video, I'll be breaking down Keanu Reeves speaking Mandarin and rating his Chinese from 1 to 10 at the end. What's up everyone, this is Rita, aka Fan Laoshi, your accent coach and Chinese teacher. I love helping Mandarin learners to hear Chinese clearly and speak confidently and naturally. In fact, I've even made an entire course dedicated to it, with a new 3-month bootcamp designed to help anyone at any level, even a celebrity. Now, no matter what kind of movies you are into, you know Keanu Reeves. He's the guy fighting his way out of the Matrix, stopping speeding buses, or kicking ass and getting revenge as John Wick. And Chapter 4 is coming out next month, right? But you might not know about his Chinese roots. His father is Chinese Hawaiian. So how's his Mandarin? But before we find out, make sure you subscribe to the channel first so don't miss out on any Mandarin learning tips that you won't find anywhere else. Let's get started. The first clip we are watching was part of the promotion for Man of Tai Chi. You can look it up if you don't know what it is. So Keanu Reeves got to test out his Mandarin language skills in interviews in China. And this was back in 2013. This looks, Laoli.
Yes.
Laoli. So did you hear her call him Laoli? So Keanu Reeves' Chinese name is Keanu Reeves. A lot of time people pair Lao with a person's family name. So in this case, it's Li. But that's not a comment on their age. She's not calling him old. It's actually used as a sign of respect or closeness. So you know why Chris is called Lao Ma.
What's up guys? I'm Master.
Can you speak any Chinese?
开始 and then just say ting.
And 开始, but it should be 开始, 开始. And he uses the first tone, which makes it ting, ting to listen, instead of ting, ting to stop or cut, which I believe is what he meant here. So it's important to remember, tones don't just help people understand you. They can completely change the word you are saying, because Chinese is a tonal language.
没问题。
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 没问题。没问题。So Keanu completely avoids contour tones here. And I get it. For a lot of Chinese learners, the first tone and the third tone are easier to use and to get right. They are level tones, which means you just need to know how high and how low to go. But the second tone and the fourth tone are contour tones, which means you need to know which pitch to start at and which to end at. When you say it right, 没问题, 没问题 should sound like a wave.
每日。
每日。
每日. But he wants to enunciate the tone, and it became the fourth tone.
每日。
每日.
文娱。
when you.
So two of these second tones are pronounced as subtle fourth tones instead.
when you.
文娱.
播报。
播报.
So 播报, 报. And he said 播报. This is a good example of how tricky compound vowels can be. They require everything, our tongue, teeth, and lips to move more. It's not hard, it just takes practice and muscle memory.
我在。
我在。
That's pretty good. 我在
这里。
这里。
这里
等你。
等你。
等你. So we have the first third tone here that should be the second tone, because there are two third tones in a row. And man, he really struggles with the second tone, huh? That's why tones are the first aspect of the Chinese sound system that I'll help you figure out in my course. But hey, interviews like this aren't always easy. Even in your native language, people can find it pretty hard to sound natural. So let's see how Keanu Reeves does in a scripted conversation. This is a movie from 2008, and it's called The Day the Earth Stood Still.
我们和你失去联系很久了。
And yet again, he's avoiding the second tone, like in
和你
和. So the XQJ sound, we've been here so many times before. Go check out this video if you haven't watched it. So 失去, 失去, and 联系, 联系. And like in 很久, both are with the third tone, so we know this means that 很 should change to the second tone. 很久, 很久. And 很 is also the stress of this sentence, which means he should have emphasized. And if he had, that second tone would be even clearer. But instead, he just used the high tone, like 很久, 很久, 很久 so long. Seem familiar? And he also sits like a robot. Like seriously, he doesn't move his head or face at all, except to nod. Does that nodding help with the tones? Maybe.
任务很危险，这个地方不是很友善。
这个地方不是很友善。By the way, his co-star's Chinese isn't perfect either. James Hong was born in the US and learned Taiwanese as a child, and later English. And he studied a little Mandarin too, but we can tell that it's not native. He's racked up around 500 credits. What? That's probably why it seems like he's been in everything, right? He's in the Big Bang Theory and Everything Everywhere All at Once. Wow, good for him. But back to the clip. His sounds more like an English which is pronounced with a super curled up tongue, like and with rounded lips, like really red. But in Chinese is 任务. And then for 这个, so there's that sudden dialogue coming through. So in those areas, people pronounce 支吃诗 with a super flat tongue position, which might sound like 支吃诗, or even just 滋吃丝. Something James Hong does well though is changing his speaking rhythm.
这个地方不是很友善。
And this is how Chinese natives, or really natives in any language, talk when speaking naturally. So think about it. You speak faster during the unimportant things, and then speak louder and more slowly when we get to the key information, right? And that's the stuff we want the listener to hear clearly.
我以为能和他们讲道理。
我以为. This phrase is a great one to use when you thought something and it turned out to be wrong. Here though, either Keanu is using English intonation, so I thought 我以为, or he really just hates the second tone. We changed the tone of 我 because there are two third tones together.
我以为 能和他们讲道理。
他们, that sounds more like an English t. The tongue is to the front and the beat breathing, like t.
他们
For the Chinese, the tip of the tongue is more behind the upper front teeth, and you get a clear sound coming out right after. So, 他们. And honestly, this is probably the most robotic line in this clip. 我以为, which should be 我以为, it's sort of connected, but the rest of the sentence is super choppy.
我以为能和他们讲道理。
And Keanu Reeves' speaking rhythm doesn't change much either, nor does he add any obvious stress to his sentences. So all of his tones fall in the same pitch range. I get it, this is just how you practice tones when you get started. But Keanu just doesn't sound human here. If you want to avoid the robot effect, you need to change your pitch range. That might mean the same tone sounds very different in the sentence, and that's okay. When I train actors with their Chinese movie lines, we focus on practicing the sentence as a whole, not just the words. And I cover stuff like this in Finding Your Mandarin Voice. Any Mandarin learners will get a hand of everything with sufficient time, effort, and a systematic program that will get you speaking like a pro as soon as 3 months.
还有呢？
Ding 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 ding! It's the second tone again. Though I will say it's hard to start a sentence with this tone, with this rising tone, at least for English speakers.
还有呢？
还有呢? And the n neutral tones are a whole other beast. Some people call it the fifth tone, but it's actually 3 different tones. And when it's at the end of questions, the particle's neutral tone can vary drastically depending on the context and the speaker's emotions.
任何规劝都是没用的。
任何规劝都是没用的. The tones are all.
他们具有毁灭性，又不肯改变。
So I get that this sort of half-whisper speech sounds natural, but that's just it. It only sounds natural. I've heard this a lot from Mandarin learners and even Chinese teachers saying, if you speak fast, tones don't matter. You're kidding me, right? You not hearing the tones when people speak fast doesn't mean that tones aren't being used. Natives still speak with tones when we speak fast, okay? It just takes time to train your ears to perceive the tones in fast speech. And James Hong doesn't move his mouth that much, which is something a lot of Chinese natives do. It's also the reason why Mandarin learners may find it hard to understand. But you can't jump into this way of speaking without honing the tones, vowels, and consonants well enough. Otherwise, just like in James' line, you might sound natural and speak fast, but natives won't necessarily understand what you are saying.
我觉得是因为很多人觉得我只要说得快，我就可以掩盖掉我说的不准的那些问题。
That was me. That is me.
That's a lot of people.
是，就是因为我之前可能也是，就是很多声调我不知道是第一声、第二声、第三声、第四声，那我就觉得我说得快，
别人听不出来
啊，
但是母语者就是听不懂。
是。
The moral of the story, while training your mouth, you also train your ears. You need both to really nail Chinese pronunciation.
这是你对他们的正式评估吗？
Is he a new Siri?
我听不懂你在说什么。
Programs like Siri and Alexa can now process neutral tones. Not yet. Just as Keanu said it here, will like ma end up sounding like the first tone. 你对他们的评估吗？评估吗？ And here we have some consonant problems. The in 对 and in 估 should be unvoiced. Yet again, this is a common problem, especially with the preposition 对. So here, the preposition 对 is not the stress of the sentence, yet the way he says it really hits you in the ear. 这是你对他们的正式评估吗？这是你对他们的正式评估吗？ So first, I just want to say that it's always great to try speaking a new language, and it takes guts to do it when a bunch of cameras are focused on you. So for that, way to go, Keanu Reeves. But that doesn't mean that there isn't stuff to work on. So here's my breakdown of his Chinese. So for tones, I'm gonna give him a 7. We really gotta find that missing second tone, okay? And for vowels and consonants, I can give him an 8. There were some obvious English accent issues. But for speaking rhythm, I can only give him a 5. No Siri auditions, please. Okay. And for intonations, I can only give him a 5 too. We need to catch a wave and embrace the contour tones. If I were his teacher, I'd help with his individual tones and sounds first. We'd also work a lot more at the sentence level, focusing on how to stress words, change the speaking rhythm, and find intonations with various pitch ranges. And while I may never get to help Keanu Reeves find his Mandarin voice, I can help you. So this 3-month pronunciation bootcamp starting at the end of this month is designed to keep you on track to mastering the Chinese sound system. Because 1, it has clear start and end dates. It's really easy to buy a course, start it, and then forget about it. This bootcamp won't let that happen. It's a 12-week systematic plan that includes daily learning tasks. 2, there's a weekly live stream to walk you through everything you learned that week and answer any questions you may have. And 3, a professional speech coach is joining us, and she'll be there to give daily feedback into the camp group. I'm really excited about this, and I hope to see all of you there. Check out the link in the box to learn more and get signed up today. And remember, with Fan Laoshi, Chinese makes perfect sense. See you all in the next video.